hockey fans, the Minnesota Hockey Connection is on the air. We're on the air for the next half hour. I'm Kenny Gallagher, along with Jerry Burrow, and a special guest today, head hockey coach Mike Randolph at Duluth East. And the season is getting started, Mike. We had previously on this program, we had Brendan Flaherty up at Marshall. He's been doing this a long time, as has Kevin Smalley. And
not as long as I have.
Not as long as you have, exactly. Yeah, there's nobody in the state that's done it as long as you. Willard Eichel, he's not still coaching. No, he's out.
No, he's out. I think I'm the old guy. I'm Grandpa.
So. Did you ever dream when you got into coaching that it would go this long? Or
no, I never thought it would go this long, especially after we had 3 kids, bing, bing, bing. And but if I didn't have a super wife who was willing to allow me to continue to coach. Because that's a point where a lot of guys go, it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's so much time. And but again, she's been a saint and allowed me to continue my passion, and I feel very fortunate.
You know, Jerry, we don't talk about that much. We don't hear about that often. We talk to the coaches and maybe on a pro level, the players, but there's always that other person, that girlfriend, that wife.
Got to make a lot of sacrifices.
Yeah.
So what keeps you going?
The kids. I love the kids. I started my camps, probably back when Jake was coming up through the ranks.
So about 10 years ago.
Yeah, about 10 years ago or more. And it's allowed me to see the kids coming and get to know the kids at real early on in their careers, which is real rewarding. And then to see them, continue to grow as players and people is, that's the satisfaction you get. You don't make any money doing it, so you have to have a passion for it, or you don't last.
Sure, and Jared, too, that you've had some great players come through this organization. Not all of them have been pros. Some have. And now we have Forbert out in Los Angeles.
Right.
There's so many, I can't remember his first name.
Derek
Plant. Forbert, rather. Do you get a chance to talk to these guys, as their careers go on? Does Derek call and say, hey, coach, or something that happened, and I remember this in a game when I was a sophomore, or anything to that degree?
Not a lot of them do. I think they move on, and but they never forget where they came from. And not only at the high school level, but underneath the high school level. I know Derek's come home, and Jake skated with him, and he gets together with his buddies, and it's just nice to see those kids continue to stay in contact with each other. They more or less, the players stay in contact more than once in a while. I'll see a group of players come down to our locker room. But once their group leaves, there's not a lot of contact. They've moved on, and
I think about that from time to time. The teams, the players that come through the organization, whether it's Duluth East or pick a school really where there's some longevity of the coach. And if you were to have a picture taken with all those players, you wouldn't have a room big enough to fill them all in.
No, we have a lot. As Jerry knows, we have a lot of pictures of past. Every state tournament team there's a picture that the parents have put up in the locker room, and they're pretty nice pictures.
Right.
And I think that's what continues to help our program. Kids walk in that locker room, and you could see them all look up there, and they're all looking at different pictures of different players, and
ones that have
somehow
maybe left a
connected,
mark.
Whether it's brothers or
okay, I see,
or whatever. And
now, is this something that other teams do, or is it kind of an East
I'm
tradition?
sure a lot of teams do it.
Okay.
But a lot of teams don't make it to the state tournament.
Yeah, we've been fortunate to make it to a lot, so we have a locker room full of pitchers.
Yeah.
So it's helped. The kids that walk in that locker room realize the many players before them that built that program to what it is today. I mean, it's statewide. It's regarded as wherever we go. We have, as Jerry knows, we have fans from all over the state.
And they'll show up for the games.
They'll show up for games. Like when we play Wayzata on Saturday, this Saturday in Wayzata, there'll be people there that will be Hound fans or former Hound players that will make a point of coming during the JV game and making contact with me, and we'll talk about old times. It's really neat.
Now, before we get to that Wayzata game, you've got a game here against White Bear Lake at the Heritage.
Friday
what is
night.
this? Friday at 7:15. Things
Yeah.
get going.
Yeah, we're anxious to get going. This is the first year that we didn't scrimmage. We just ran basically a training camp, a 3-week training camp. So the kids, you can just see it.
They want to get
They
going.
want to get going. And I have asked Sean a number of times. I don't like to play before December because then we have an opportunity to get things in place and to evaluate players more slowly. I rather just start in December at some point. This is great.
Yeah.
The first weekend of December, and then let's go. You know, we're going to
Sean.
Sean Road.
Rolled.
Oh,
My
okay.
AD who
Gotcha.
does the
Sure,
scheduling.
sure.
And I love this schedule. It's a great schedule. The only unfortunate thing, we're not going to play in Duluth a lot, as you can see. We have a lot of road games. This is our travel.
You get
Travel
freaking
year.
flyer miles on the bus.
Yeah, we have one weekend where we go to Brainerd, play Brainerd, and then jump on the bus, and we're going to stay in Bemidji and play Roseau the next day. And then we come Tuesday, and we go to Prior Lake.
Sure.
Now that's covering
That's
some
about
miles.
1,000 miles.
Yeah,
That's
it is.
about in that weekend or that short period of time will cover more miles than most teams will cover the whole year.
Yeah.
So, but we love it. The kids love getting on that bus, and it brings our team together, and kids look forward to the trips.
Coach, why did you make the change this year of not scrimmaging? Since many years you scrimmage about close to 10 teams.
We had the regular teams. We just felt that we want to do some testing with our players and run a training camp. And last year, unfortunately, we had 7 injuries in the scrimmages, and they tend to get a little bit out of control. And even though you have refs out there, and I know a number of teams have lost players in scrimmages, and that's really sad when that happens.
Right.
And so to avoid that, we just decided to not scrimmage, and I think the kids have enjoyed it. We have enjoyed it, and I'm not sure the parents do, but I don't really care what the parents think of that. We just worry about our team and our kids, and they seem to we seem to have gotten a lot more out of it.
So what are the strong points this year on this year's team that you think?
I think we have more depth than we've had. We're young. We're real young as far as experience goes. We have the 3 forwards, Donovan, Worth, and Meju, who many people are familiar with up front, who have some experience. Excuse me, on the back end we have Payne, LeMaster, Hill, who have experience. Probably our most experienced player is our goalie. He played every single game. So after that, we've got a lot of JV guys, some Bantam guys, but we feel we're very balanced and have some good depth in all the positions. We think
Does
we're
that
deeper in the
bode
net.
well for next year? As a high school coach, do you look into next year? Do you look?
Not really.
Yeah.
I personally, I don't.
right.
We just
But I would think, being a young team, though, that there's at least some hope for next year.
there's some hope for this year.
If,
I found that over the course of coaching, that when you have young kids, that they come in hungry and they want to learn. They're all ears and they're all in it, and they want to play.
yeah.
The nice thing we have is we had Ash Altman, we had Nick Lukdow, and Ryan Peterson. And as you know, Jerry, they had a ton of ice time.
Right.
Guys can figure that out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ice time out there to be had. Now, who's going to take it? We think there's going to be – we have competition in all positions, and I think when there's competition in all positions, it makes you better.
You know, you've had some great teams, state championships, great players, but that team that went to the championship game against Lakeville North. Did you ever think you'd be in the championship that season?
No, I don't think many did, nor did I.
And just to get to Lakeville North, who did you beat? St. Thomas Academy, Edina.
Yeah, it was a great run.
You
Group
could
of
write
kids.
a book on Duluth East hockey, and that would be one of the finest chapters.
Yeah, it's a picture that's right before you walk out of our locker room, as you know, Jared. The players see that, and that was a team.
Yeah.
That's what you try to get the guys to realize.
Was
It's
that
about the team.
Was that
And
the same
team-
Elk River overtime win where you had to come back? Was that
Yeah,
same?
we're down 3 twice.
A lot of
Amazing
overtime
season.
games.
An
Yeah.
amazing season.
But Jerry, as you know, they just came together as a team, bought into the system, and cared about each other. And it's not rocket science trying to bring it together.
Yeah.
But you tend to find teams that are a little bit more individualistic and think more about themselves and their points and what school's talking to who and whatever. And we found that our last most successful team was that one. And the reason they were is because they cared about each other. And we had great leadership. Nick Altman and Brian Button were as good a captains as we've ever had. And they drove the bus, and everybody jumped on. And we got to that point like you talked about. And it was awesome to see. The whole state of Minnesota embraced that team. They loved their no-quit attitude. And they came back in a lot of hockey games and proved that we're going to be a tough out, and we were until Lakeville North.
With the depth on this team, I think this year's team, you probably can play the kids the way you want to play instead of making changes halfway through the year. But I think you're going to use the D again pretty much, and I think the forwards, keeping that puck in and cycling, I think you got a lot of good group of kids to play your game plan.
Yeah, we like what we see, Chair. Obviously, we're going to find out this weekend real quick, playing White Bear. And White Bear, this will be their 3rd game, I think. I think they played tomorrow night, and they played
Yeah, they played already this
played
weekend.
Jefferson this
Right, they
past
beat 'em.
weekend, and they beat them. So we have 2 big tests, and we're really looking forward to it, as are the kids. And you get to find out what kind of team you got. Because you can play against each other.
Sure,
But once
sure.
you play against somebody in another uniform, we'll find out.
Well, the best thing
Our
a lot
personnel.
of people say about your team is your scheduling. You don't back off to anyone. I mean, I'm telling you, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of the first 15 teams, and it could be more because someone might move up, or there's some sleepers out there.
Oh, yeah.
Like I think this Lakeville South team that you play later on in the year is going to be a sleeper.
Sean Road again is kind enough to do the work on finding new teams. Apple Valley's been down for a while,
Right.
as you know. They had a really good Pee Wee team, so they'll be coming up. But they've been down for a while, and Cambridge has been down. So we dropped both of them and picked up Bemidji and Jefferson and Brainerd.
Brainerd is another young team.
So we think our schedule's taken another jump, and we're excited about it because it just gives you the opportunity to evaluate your team a lot.
How much
better.
does your input go into this schedule?
As much as I can give,
Yeah.
but Sean does the scheduling.
Yeah.
So Sean will ask me, is there anybody you want to look at dropping? Anybody you want to look? And of course, I have to talk to the coaches about that.
Yeah.
And then he
When
does
does that
the
start?
paperwork.
Is that like August?
Usually
September?
after you play them.
Yeah.
Like the Apple Valley coach, after we played him, I kind of told him we're gonna look at picking somebody else up, and appreciated the relationship we've had over the years, and he appreciated. Maybe we can get back on each other's schedule at another time.
Yeah.
And most coaches understand it.
Right.
There's no problem. So.
We talked to Kevin Smalley last week. He's got a numbers problem out there. Does East have a numbers problem with
We don't. I think we had to cut 7 people, so that's around where we're at the last few years. Yeah, I feel bad for Kevin. In fact, we're trying to work something with the State High School League where some of the kids that are not able to make our team, that if they could have an opportunity to go play out at
Really?
Benfeld.
Well, that's great, and I think that's unique in the sense that they're an A class, you're double A. I don't know that would occur if it was the same class, perhaps, and that's fine. But that's.
You want to keep kids playing.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
Why doesn't seems like the
I
State
think
High
they're
School
in the
League doesn't
process
want to listen.
like Kevin has one goalie right now. I think he has one injured. That's my understanding. And we had an 11th grade goalie that played for us, and we just didn't feel like he was going to play for us long term. And so we had the younger kids, so we had to make a tough decision. And I think they've been in communication about trying to make this work. And of course, Kevin came up and asked me, and I said, "Hey, go for it. You know, if we can keep kids playing at the high school level, whether they play Denfeld or East, that's what this is all about." So I know they were in the process of contacting the State High School League and finding out if they would allow this player to join their team, because you can't. It's pretty tough to play with one goalie. If you injury, sickness, or whatever, you're in trouble. So I don't know what's going to come out of it, but I hope the State High School League makes what I think is the right decision, which is to allow kids to continue to play.
Right. It's best for the kids, best for the school.
And it's not like the kids are going to play for Kevin's varsity. It's mostly to fill his JV. So he had like 23 players, and he needed a few more so he could make it work. But at this point, he's just going to have a varsity.
So when the schedule is made, are you looking at this Bulldog schedule when they play Nebraska Omaha?
Am I looking at it? I don't have to look at it. I know it.
I'm looking at February 3rd and 4th. Omaha comes to Duluth, and it looks like you've got a Saturday game on the 4th at Elk River, but you make those games when UNO comes to town.
Yeah, I just talked to Jer about, he runs into all these coaches and knows them all, so I'm trying to. In fact, I contacted the Elk River coach, and I asked him, which I did with the Andover coach. Andover moved their game up because they're in St. Cloud that weekend in a couple weeks. And I'm going to be able to go from St. Cloud to Andover and then back to St. Cloud to watch Jake play that night. So I'm hoping that the Elk River coach will move the game up so I can. He moved it up from 7 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Wow, that doesn't do me any good. You know, I mean, I want to be here when the puck drops.
Yeah.
So, and I'd like to be there, but if he can't move it, then I won't be able to make it because I'm not going to miss that series. No.
Sure.
And the parents are really good about it. Really good about it. Very supportive. And I probably miss about, I don't know, 4 or 5 games in a year.
How's Jake doing?
He's doing well.
Good.
Just enjoys it a lot.
Yeah.
Playing a ton. Likes school. Likes his apartment. He's got a real nice apartment, a real nice college apartment.
You know, it's funny because his first goal, I was at Heritage, and I'll never forget it. You guys were playing the Trojans of Wayzata, and he scored a goal, and I started thinking, did I just get his first goal on tape here? I was running the camera, and I went and I told you, and I said, was that his first goal? And you said, yeah, it was. So it's still on YouTube if you want to check that out, but my goodness, it's got to be thrilling for you as a dad to have your son. And let's face it, Jake's a top performer.
Well,
you know, does that make it difficult for him or you or?
We have a great relationship. We're in communicate. Like he'll practice today, and he'll let me know what the lineup is. And I know the whole team. I mean. Yeah. We were in Marquette this weekend for the Northern Michigan series and went down Saturday night to see all the guys getting on the bus and obviously say goodbye to Jake. And it's just really cool because he has 4 roommates that I know really well. Okay. And I know all the players really well. And it's just really cool. Really cool.
Good. And there's another Duluth East kid that was playing for Northern Michigan this weekend.
Yep. Phil Blue, and that was really fun to watch him play. I tell you what, I was proud of it because I told, you might not know the story, but I told Dean Blaze, you got to come and see this kid play. He's a really good player, a quarterback, your power play. He'll do it all for you. And then he went out there. Well, it didn't work out. They decided to take his scholarship away and go in another direction, and he ended up in Northern Michigan. Well, of course, Phil wants to show Coach Blaze that he made a mistake.
Sure.
And boy, did he ever. He was the best. I was telling him he was the best defenseman on the ice, both teams.
Okay.
And he's a freshman.
And he's a freshman. And I went down and talked to his coach, Walt Kyle, who I know way back when I played in Waterloo, and I love the kid. And they think he's going to be an all-leaguer. And he goes, I think Omaha's going to regret not taking him. And I said, well,
Yeah.
I regret not telling Dean, what are you doing?
Does a pro contract await Phil Ballou? How about an NHL pro contract?
You know, Phil Ballou, I wouldn't say no
Okay.
because he has what you're looking for in a defenseman, which is make the first pass, get you out of your end, quarterback a power play. He's got a great stick. He's tough. He's got all the ingredients to play hockey beyond college.
Right.
I don't want to put you on the spot, and I'm not trying to out anybody, but Max Tardy, a great high school player, went to UMD, drafted by the St. Louis Blues, had the game-tying goal in the championship contest for UMD, but never played for St. Louis. What happened?
I think it mostly started in college. I think he had a tough college career. I mean, he scored that goal, and he's obviously on one of the power plays. I think he was probably on the second power play. Coming into the next year, you assume a guy who scores a winning goal and on the second power play would be playing a lot. Well, he didn't play a lot after that,
Right.
for whatever reason.
Sure.
I'm not there.
Yeah.
I don't see it. Sandy had his reasons, and it didn't work out for him. But you're not going to play beyond college if you're not playing in college.
Good point.
So
Sure.
I just think he had a rough college career, and St. Louis gave up on him. It doesn't take them long to give. I mean, Buffalo gave up on Judd Peterson after his freshman year. He had a tough freshman year.
Right.
He had a great sophomore year.
Now
He's at the top of their list. All of a sudden they got him in, and Judd's had a great career at St. Cloud, and he'll probably go on and play beyond college. But you have to put some numbers up and play well in college if you want to play beyond college. You can't be on the bench or be up eating popcorn. And what people don't understand at that level is, and I tell my parent group this, just because you get a Division I scholarship, first of all, the scholarships, they vary from 10% to a full. Not a lot of kids get a full ride. Most get 50, 60. Ballou's hardly getting any money because he came in late. But he's going to get some money next year because it's going to free up. Their seniors leave and they get more money. But I'm at that game, and I'm at any college game, and you have 6 Omaha players in the stands, a goalie, 2D, and 3 forwards sitting in the stands in suits. You can pick them out.
Yeah.
Most kids
And
don't.
long
College
hair.
kids don't wear
Yeah.
and long hair. They
Yeah.
don't wear suits to the game. And then over in the other section are 6 more, and they're from northern Michigan. So just because you are considered a future Bulldog or a future Maverick or a future whatever doesn't guarantee you anything. Every day's a tryout, and they make a lineup on Friday night. So the work doesn't end. And I've said that to Jake probably more than once, but it's not. Some people envision, I've made this college team and I'm going to play. Look at UMD's roster. Now you got Avery Peterson coming in. Avery
That's a
Peterson's
good
going to go in the
question.
lineup.
Where do you
Avery's
think he'll fit?
Well, he'll fit anywhere. Avery Peterson's he played 2 years for Omaha. It
Yeah.
just didn't work out. It's really sad to see him go, but he's got to do what's best for him. But Avery Peterson can score goals.
Yeah.
Avery Peterson will be probably their purest goal scorer. And I don't see any way he's not going to go in that lineup. Well, somebody's going out. And he's going to get ice time and take ice time away from somebody.
Sure.
So I think he's going to help them tremendously in the goal scoring area.
Well, this game has changed so much in the last 20 years where now 5-on-5, it's hard to score goals.
Yeah, it is.
So you got to be smart, and special teams is what's doing it now.
Yep.
So you got to stay out of the box, and then when the other
Well,
team,
they were whistle happy real early. in college hockey. A lot of penalties, and therefore you saw a lot of power play goals. And like you said, 5-on-5 goals. We scored our first 5-on-5 goal in a long time. In fact, we might be the worst scoring 5-on-5. Although we got 3 this weekend, which is a big plus. And hopefully we'll continue in that trend. But you're right. You have to have a power play, and you got to find a way to score 5-on-5 goals, and it gets harder later on because teams tighten up defensively.
I mean, if you're not moving your feet or very good one-on-one things, you're going to have a hard time out there because the spaces aren't there.
There's no space. And like I said, later on in the season, whether it's the NHL, college hockey, the minors, high school hockey, it all gets tighter and tighter, and it gets more competitive for ice. And if you don't have guys that want to compete for that ice, then you're in for a long night.
It's assistant coaches are such an integral part of the game. Same lineup?
Same lineup. I have a great staff. That keeps me going, and that's a big part of. Well, Dylan Mills works with our D. Dylan Mills is a former player, former state champion. Played at the Gophers, captain of the Gophers. I have Brendan Brooks, who's he's just a great guy. The kids love him. He'll work with the D, he'll work with the forwards. He does everything. I have Louis Krenza, who takes care of all my paperwork. And he's the most valuable player in my organization. Anything I get, I just forward to Louis, and he takes care of it. So that's outstanding. And then I have 2 great JV coaches, and Mike Rainier and Jacob Bosey, who both former players and do my JV. And then we found the best goalie coach we've ever had in Tim Cortez. He is really, really dedicated and knowledgeable, and so I love our staff. It's a great staff. We get along great. They're very supportive and very loyal, and I couldn't find better people.
Well, that's awesome. Mike Randolph joins us, head coach at Duluth East, the Greyhounds, and the season is just getting started. Again, your first game is Friday, December 2nd, and you'll play that at Heritage at 7:15, a JV game at 5 o'clock. We've just got a couple of minutes, but I want to ask you, Jerry is so passionate about this game, high school hockey, travels the state. Do you look to Jerry for advice, maybe, or does he just offer you advice on not so much on coaching, but maybe scouting another team? You're going to want to watch out for this guy. This goalie over here
he'll give me the lineups, which is really helpful, the lines and D, and give us an idea of how they played that game, which doesn't necessarily mean they're going to play that way against us, but
it's in the back of your head, and maybe you'll know something.
Well, what I like is the lineup he gives me. And once you see the lines, you can pretty much tell, what lines are top line based on returners or whomever. And so he sees more hockey than anybody, and we always tell him, in his rankings, put us way down. Put us at about.
We don't
want to be. We want to work our way up, work our way down.
I put you at 10, so you're not going to like that.
No, I'm not going to like 10.
But I say
I like about maybe 20th.
You're going to fall out.
Yeah. Teams to look for. Mentionable honorable mentions.
I tell them we want to be able to go up after Christmas.
With the internet now, you can find out a lot of information too. Where you almost have to go in high school with who's scoring all the points, and Mike's he's a free man now. He's retired. Spends only 80 hours a week on the ice now.
I wish we had more time. This has been great.
It's always great to see you, Ken.
Coach Mike Randolph, Duluth East. You can look for the Minnesota Hockey Connection. Look for us on Facebook and find us there and like us there. We'll like you back. And online, mnhockeyconnection.com. Jerry has his stories, his rankings as well. And we'll be back here next week to drop the puck. And the staff at PACT-TV, we want to thank PACT-TV that produces this program. Look for us on YouTube as well. We've got it all covered. Mike Randolph, thank you.
Thank you. Always great to see you again.
Yeah.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Jerry.
And Jerry, we'll be back here next week to drop the puck. We'll see you then.